Hi, my name is Irene. I would like to talk about what's going on in our country at this time. Last month in December, we went through a situation where the children at Sandy Hook and the teachers were killed. I solemnly think about the words of J.F. Kennedy, and to quote him, he said, "Ask yourself not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." The deaths that happened at Sandy Hook, it left all of us feeling severe pain deep inside of us. We could not relate to a situation where you could see children and teachers die. But again, you have to ask yourself, what can you do in this situation? What can we all do in this situation? I am a big proponent of love. Love can solve every evil, every bad thought, everything we can imagine as bad. I believe that love can solve it all. So in this situation where our hearts were pierced, the pain came out and you felt it no matter where you are, any place in this country, in the world, when you saw those pictures, there was pain in your heart. So the question I have for you today is, how do we give love in a situation that is so hard to give love? So with this question in mind, we have to ask ourselves, what is the source of our thoughts? And we all think about things, little, big, and things that either limit us or things that allow us to be ourselves. Those limiting thoughts are the ones that guide us to go to areas where we don't want to go. And if you think about the person who did this, you only have to see how the disease of the mind progresses and makes you act. And all of us are guilty of some thought that we all hold. This thought could be a thought about your dreams. It could be a thought about your job. It could be a thought about your family. How limiting is it? How much does it allow you to be you? And where does it lead you? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you pain? Is it something you're doing out of fear? Are your thoughts being driven by fear, or are they being driven by love? And I believe that we have to twist that a little bit so that in everything we do, we can guide our thoughts so that it's coming from a point of love. Because as long as it's coming from a point of love, the result is always beautiful. It will always be from a point of love. I love the fact that everybody was created with a special thing inside of them. And the only way we can know how beautiful that is if we work in harmony. If I allow you to be who you are and you allow me to be who I am. And in that sense, we all start communicating to each other that you are valid and I am valid. We all love each other. It doesn't matter who you are. I look at a situation where you're a nurse in a hospital. You have a patient. The patient is probably not fitting your belief, because our thoughts make us make beliefs, and then you live by your beliefs. You really believe that people must be faithful and you want everybody to be faithful. Unfortunately, not everybody is going to be faithful. So you have received a patient and in your judgment they don't fit your belief. I'm going to take an example of a patient who's in pain. Some of us may judge pain by our facial features. Oh, this patient is not showing the regular symptoms of pain. They may be not showing remorse on their face, but they're telling you that they're in pain. What do you do with that? Now think of it like this. If you're starting from a point of love, meaning you've allowed them to be who they are, and you've allowed yourself to do what you're supposed to do. So you will listen to them, and if they say they have pain, you need to treat their pain. And just leave it at that. Don't add anything to it, because you don't know where they're coming from with that. So that brings me to the point of let's not take assumptions for the things we don't know. You will probably act out of what you already know, and that serves you. You must respect the fact that everybody emanates their own kind of feeling, and their feeling brings out of the universe the same things to them. They may be thinking of that pain medicine being their biggest thing, and it's like a placebo effect. If they believe that it's going to help them, it will help them. You as a nurse may be thinking, If I give them this pain medicine, they're going to get nauseous, they're going to throw up, they're going to get addicted. You make up all these things in your mind, and now this is what is controlling you, and now you don't want to treat your patient because of your beliefs. So start questioning those beliefs. Is it really valid? Is it a belief that you believe the other person is really condoning? Are they accepting your beliefs? If they're not, then you need to step back and say, I'm making assumption. I need to start acting from a point of love, of accepting them for who they are. The other thing we also have to believe guides us is that when we have these thoughts, we let them take effect in our lives in different ways. And when you think about mental illness, it is a rampant disease in our country. A lot of people have mental issues. I love Thomas Edison's quote. He said that whatever a man can create, a man's character can control. Meaning, if you're able to create a computer, you can be able to control that computer. And your mind is like a computer. It downloads things from the universe. And you know what is powerful about the world? The world sends to you the things that you're thinking about. So if you start thinking the things of love, you're bringing more of it. It's in the ether. It's controlled out there, and more of it is coming to you. So think of it as, I'm downloading the right stuff to myself. And now you have a computer that you created. You put the chips in there. You're the one who made it up. Now you need to control it and not let that computer control you. That's the beauty of human beings. God gave us that extra thing that we can think and act. So now that you know that that's what's controlling you, you now start thinking, okay, fine. I made this limiting thought. I am the one to make this thought go away and make a thought that really helps me. And that's all it takes. And that's what could have happened. When you look at mental illness, those steps are missing. There's something misconstrued, and there's a truth that is not coming out. And so you continue convincing yourself that that truth is there. And it's really not there. It's just something you made up. And you believe it and you act. So now there we are. What do we do with that part? Now this is what I believe in, that situations are very hard, and sometimes you face challenges, and people have different ways of thought, and you can't control other people. The only person you can control is you. So what do you do in a situation like this? You cannot give love. That's not a choice. You have to give love. But how do you do that? I believe that when you start loving yourself so much, it just overflows, and it's so much easier to give that love to someone else. And how do you do this? You do your best every day. You go in, when you punch in at work, your clock starts. By the time you're employed, they knew that you had the abilities to do your job well. Your clock starts ticking and your money is going to be there. But if you take this as a job and you're there because of the money only, that job is going to get to you to a point where you're not going to be serving anybody out of love. You'll just be thinking about the money. And what happens to you? You have no inner peace. The people you're working with will always see you as so disconnected because you're not giving yourself to it. And then you continue with the judgment and unhappiness, and you don't have inner peace. So the way I look at it is, I walk in, I know that there are basic things. I can choose to do the minimum. But when I go home, I'll be thinking about it, and I'm like, I didn't really give my best. I really didn't offer the best that I could. So my only way of getting to that point was to tell me, what can I do? And the answer is, I can only do my best. So if you don't have the staffing that is adequate, you don't have the equipment that is adequate, you don't have the time you don't have something, it means we have to create what you can create at the point and do your best. Once you do your best, it takes away guilt, it takes away regrets, and it leaves you a peaceful person. So if you look at this process and you look at mental illness, you will be left with a point where you have to think at the point where this boy did what he did, what was happening? And you realize that there was a step that was missing. And I think most of it was really the beginning part. The thoughts that he thought about, he did not control himself, and he let himself go to the next stage, and this is what happened. So what do we do after this? All right, now that we've talked about the situation that left us in pain, the situation that we still are aching from, the country is still in pain because of what happened on that day. You can only imagine what those children who are left are feeling. You can only imagine how that community is still mourning. So we have to ask ourselves, what's the way forward? And how do we deal with this situation? And what do you have to do as an individual? Our lawmakers are going to go down and work on their end. As human beings, in general, what do we do? And I like to think about it this way. If you have to think about your life and think about situations that you actually did something that violated someone else. You could have lied, you could have done something that could have made someone else feel bad, you could have talked about them, you could have taken something from them. Think about the things that you were not proud about. Things about your past that you did not like and you don't want anyone to even talk about those things. They're not on TV, but they were done. You can't minimize that you did those things. We all have some of that. Can you find a place in your heart to forgive yourself for those things? Can you find a place in your heart to tell yourself, the only way forward is to forgive what I did yesterday and take today as a new day and deal with what you have today? If you can get to that point in your heart to forgive yourself, to love yourself, and to heal yourself, then automatically your love will overflow to other people. And that's why even the Bible says that when your cup is full, then it overflows. And that's the point that I feel we all have to get to and tell ourselves that I am worthy of love, and so the next person is worthy of love. If you think about what this boy did and you can find a place in your heart to forgive them, then you have healed yourself. And because you are able to heal yourself, you'll be able to heal the next person. And together, if we can come together and heal each other through this process, then many, many other things in our lives will be able to be healed. Our families can use the same therapy. Our country can use the same therapy. And the world in general can use the same therapy. And through this, when our common goal is to heal, then we end up having unity. And this unity drives us to do something. And this action will never be conflicted because we are all coming from the point of, first of all, love, because forgiveness is taking your love to forgive yourself and forgive others. So I believe that through this process together, we can heal ourselves and then heal the next person, and finally heal the country and heal the world in general. And from that point of view, we can apply it in all ways in our lives. Every day, our life is today. We cannot postpone living today for tomorrow. We have to say today, I will forgive myself today. I will live the best of my life today. And then from there, extend it to other people. At your work, if you meet someone who's not worthy of what you think is worthy, extend yourself. Extend your love. And with that, I believe we can conquer everything. And God bless all of you. Thank you.